Hi, I'm Johnny Pantshead, and today I want to talk about Star Wars and why Episode 2 Attack of the Clones was my favorite movie in the series. That's right. Better than the entire original trilogy. To kick this off, we have to address the most important reason Star Wars Episode 2 is my favorite Star Wars movie. I was 11 years old when it came out. The movie was made for 11-year-olds. Star Wars is a movie series made for kids. There's a reason they've sold an unholy amount of merchandise, including toys. That doesn't mean that everyone can't enjoy Star Wars, but you need to keep in mind that if you like Star Wars past the age of 13, you're a complete mouth-breathing nerd. And if you're 35 years old making a whole YouTube video about it, you're a loser with absolutely no life. I think a lot of the crowd that hated on the prequel series in general were kids when the 3 original movies came out. And my guess is that their parents were not as excited about Star Wars as they were because they weren't experiencing the movies as a kid. I barely looked at Star Wars as a movie franchise growing up because so much of the universe exists outside of it. The Star Wars universe is established through video games, books, and these days even TV shows. I was a fan of the Legos before I really even cared about the movies. The movies were sort of a window I could look through to see how everything ties together. For example, I was really into the Jango Fett subplot because Boba Fett had virtually no backstory if you only watched the movies. I also really like the chase scene between the Jedi Starfighter and the
Jango Fett starship.
One scene everyone loves to clown on is the Yoda lightsaber fight with Count Dooku. This scene is what converted me into a Star Wars fan because the series goes full Dragon Ball Z mode, and nothing was more badass to me in 2002 than Dragon Ball Z. Jedi and Sith are pretty much Super Saiyans in the prequels, and they go hard in the paint in ways that the originals never did. Luke doesn't reach this level of lightsaber fighting until pretty much the last movie of the original series, and even then, the pace of the fighting never got to the speed of the prequels. 10 or 15 years ago, there were a lot of people complaining about CGI in these movies, and in movies just in general. I remember people complaining that CGI didn't feel like an object or character was actually there, or that it didn't have any weight to it. But I mean, styrofoam painted to look like a boulder doesn't really look heavy either. The thing is, if you've got a good eye for it, neither digital or practical effects are gonna look real. And if Yoda was still a puppet in episode 2, he wouldn't have been able to give Dooku
that business!
And I know that I keep talking about Yoda, but all of the action in this movie is top tier. Yoda is just the cherry on top. At the end of the day, I think people who hate Attack of the Clones are the same people who talk about Empire Strikes Back like it's Citizen Kane. I mean, look at all the hate George Lucas got for not taking the series in the exact direction that they wanted him to. Did they just want him to let the fans write the movies? I don't understand how people could say that they were massive Star Wars fans, but hate every decision George Lucas has ever made. Until he sold it to Disney, George Lucas was Star Wars. And don't make me go off on how stupid it was that people thought Disney was going to make better Star Wars movies than him. If you don't like George Lucas, you don't like Star Wars. At least until 2015. Then I guess you might just hate Disney. So do you think episode 2 is the best one now?